Santa climbed gingerly from his sleigh onto the roof of a home in Mumbai. "These Indian chimneys are stupid," he cursed loudly to Mrs. Santa, who was holding the reindeer while Santa Claus went down to unload his gifts. "Why can't they make them like we make them back home?" he grumbled. "Stop grumbling, Santa, dear," cried Mrs. Santa. "You've become quite intolerant in your behavior lately." "Ah, stop criticizing me," shouted Santa from inside the chimney, and he could hear the reindeer snorting as they knew he was stuck. They heard a boom and the sound of Santa falling through the chimney into the living room below, and they heaved a sigh of relief, till suddenly they heard him cry, "Mrs. Santa, will you please come down? There's something so beautiful here." The reindeer watched fat Mrs. Santa slide down into the living room. "What is it, dear?" she asked as she saw her husband standing near a Christmas tree, near a cardboard crib where the figure of a mother in a manger was holding the Christ child, where animals, shepherds, and wise men looked in awe. "I can feel something," whispered Santa as he held Mrs. Santa's hand and stood with the others in front of the newborn baby. "It's peace," said Mrs. Santa as she stretched out her hands and carried the little Jesus. "What a sense of calm and stillness I feel with this baby." "Yes," cried Santa, "that's what I feel too, all my grumbling and anger and intolerance," said Mrs. Santa with a smile. "Yes, my intolerance has vanished," said Santa. Mrs. Santa Claus laid the baby back in the arms of its cardboard mother. "These are only figures," she said. "They are not real. Imagine what it feels when we hold the real Jesus in our arms." "You mean when the real Alanta," whispered Mrs. Santa Claus. "Why?" "Santa," whispered Mrs. Santa Claus, "we forget why he was born 2,000 years ago. To bring peace where there is war, love where anger exists, calm in a storm, understanding and acceptance instead of intolerance. That's what we need to leave in each home," exclaimed Santa. "Not just gifts, but a little prayer that this Christmas, every home in this country will be filled with the peace and joy this baby brought from heaven." The reindeers watched Santa and his wife come out of their chimney, their faces glowing. They watched amazed as they went back into each chimney, not with glittering gifts anymore, but whispering a prayer in each living room. "Intolerance and hate are gone," the reindeers whispered. "Joy and peace for every home," prayed Santa and his wife into every home throughout the vast land. Santa smiled even as he stumbled or fell, whether his fat belly got stuck or jammed. His intolerance, his grumpiness, his cursing was gone with the peace he felt. "That peace, dear people," whispered Mrs. Santa, "is also yours this Christmas."